Imagine your entire life, every milestone, every moment being broadcast to the world from the instant that second line appeared on the pregnancy test. Your first breath, your first step, your first words. Every meltdown, every scraped knee and broken bone, every dentist appointment, every birthday party, first crushes, all captured, edited, uploaded, and shared with millions of strangers. The good, the bad, and the deeply private. All of it forever preserved, just a click away. And back then, it seemed harmless. It was new, it was exciting. Families across the world opened their doors and invited the internet in. And at that time, no one stopped to ask what the cost might be.
And be part of our family. So if you could pray for us, we appreciate it. I love you guys. Come here, come closer for the video, come closer. Come closer. Come closer. Put your head right here. Come closer. Closer down, put your head down here. Act like you're crying. Like,
I am crying.
like this.
No, Mom, I'm not just usually
No,
crying.
I know, but like this. For the video. Like this, put one hand up, like this. No, like this. Put your hand like this. But let them see your mouth. But let them see your mouth.
But now we know better. We've seen the headlines, we've heard the horror stories, and perhaps most haunting of all, we've begun to hear from the very same children who once smiled for the camera, now grown, now ready to speak. They tell us what it's really like behind the perfectly curated thumbnails, how their childhoods were packaged, sold, and consumed by millions. How their innocence became content, and how their stories were never truly theirs to begin with. Now imagine you're 13. You know the truth, or at least parts of it. You know what's being said online. You know what people are doing with those videos, and yet you don't have a choice. The camera's still rolling because your father insists it has to. He's desperate. He can see the views slipping, the audience moving on, the money slowing down. He knows you're aging out of the family vlogging system, that the clicks, the sponsorships, the attention are fading. And so he pushes harder. He makes you perform again and again, because to him, you're not just his child, you're his paycheck, his brand, his investment. Your family isn't a family anymore, it's a business, and you are the product. We're watching it happen, not in hindsight, but in real time. The very families who invited the world into their homes more than a decade ago, once seen as a wholesome, picture-perfect, aspirational even family, now show a much different reality. The cracks are visible, the smiles feel forced. And what was once celebrated as family entertainment is revealing something far darker beneath the surface. Perhaps no family represents this shift more clearly than the Sacconejolys. They were pioneers, one of the original family vlogging channels. For years, they filmed their children every single day. Every morning routine, every milestone, every private moment turned into content for millions to consume. And while those daily vlogs have stopped, the exploitation has not, because now the father, Jonathan, has taken things in a direction that many, myself included, would argue is even worse. He's doing the very same thing that he once swore he would never do, and he's doing it knowingly. Because at this point, it's not about family anymore. It's about survival, desperation, pure, calculated desperation. Jonathan knows the clock is ticking. He knows his children are growing up. He knows the era of profiting off their innocence is coming to an end. But for the children, that end hasn't come soon enough. This is a family that will, without question, be the subject of future documentaries. The kind that we look back on and ask ourselves, how did we let this happen? The kind that exposes just how dangerous this industry truly is. And if history is any indication, at least one of the children in that family will one day speak out. And maybe they already are. Today, we're diving into what I believe is one of the most troubling family vlogging channels on the internet, and the man behind it, one of the most dangerous fathers on YouTube. Give me the next hour, and I think you'll understand why. So Jonathan Joly and Anna Sakone began vlogging long before it was the norm, before influencer culture became a business, before content became a way of life. And on January 2nd, 2010, Jonathan uploaded his very first video. And from that moment on, he never stopped. In the beginning, it was simple. It was just Jonathan and Anna. before they had kids, before they were even engaged. It was lighthearted videos, daily updates, and the milestones of their relationship. But everything changed the day that their first daughter was born, who I'm going to be referring to in this video as E1. That video, E1's birth, remains the most viewed video on their channel today. It was a turning point, not just for their lives, but for their livelihood. Because in that moment, something clicked. Both Jonathan and Anna realized that the baby, their baby, brought in views. And views meant growth. Growth meant money. And at that point on, the cameras were always on. From her first word to every bath, every tantrum, every private family moment documented, edited, and uploaded. Day after day, year after year. And as their audience grew, so did their family. Over the next decade, they welcomed 3 more children into the world. And even their most personal tragedy, a miscarriage, became part of their content. To millions of viewers, this felt intimate, like being a part of the Sacconejolys family. A daily glimpse into their lives, the good, the bad, and all of the realness that the family offered. But as time went on, viewers started to get a little bit concerned and started to ask questions. One of the earliest scandals for the Sacconejolys came when they revealed their method of disciplining their children, a moment that has haunted them ever since. Like so many of their daily vlogs, this video appeared casual. Anna spoke to the camera as if she were chatting with a friend, FaceTiming, describing her struggles that she was having with her 3rd child.
So the reason why I stopped filming earlier so abruptly is because Alessia did that naughty thing that she's been doing again. So I don't know if we ever spoke about it on here, but basically she's got into this habit of cruising, of pooing in her nappy, and then she was taking her nappy off at night or at nap time. Now she's not doing that anymore. She's taking her poo out of her nappy with her hands and putting it into her bed. So we're trying to figure out a solution right now. We have a solution at the moment, but it's... Hi. Did you get in trouble? What do you think she did?
No more fun for you.
Why? What happened?
Yes, you got a cold shower.
Yeah.
Oh, like last night?
Daddy has to do the discipline bit because I literally can't do it. It sounds really cruel. And when I say it, I'm sure people are going to say it's cruel, but this is like, has been going on for a while, so it's kind of our last resort. But apparently, if you wash them down, because obviously there's a mess, with cold water in a cold shower, that works to like stop them doing it. Yeah, you had a cold shower. Why? Do you know why? Do you know why you had a cold shower?
No.
No? You're really hard and they're so cute.
You're being naughty, that's why.
But, okay, Eduardo, don't get involved. It's okay. So, giving them a cold shower, washing them in cold water, apparently, is the only thing that works. This is the 2nd time that we've had to do it.
I haven't seen that clip in a while, but even to this day, it is still eerie to watch them be so casual about something that's so cruel. But as time went on, more and more questions began to arise about family vloggers and the ethics behind it all. At what point does documenting your family's lives become exploiting your family? At what point do these kids' first moments, their entire identity, become property of the internet? In 2019, English journalist Stacy Dooley visited the Sacconejolys family for her series Stacy Dooley Spends the Night. The concept was simple. Stacy would spend 72 hours living as a guest in the homes of various unusual households, offering an intimate look at how they live their lives so that people who didn't live like that could better understand them. It's important to remember that this was filmed around 2019, during the height of the Sacconejolys. Their channel was thriving. The sponsorships were rolling in, the kids were front and center in every upload, every thumbnail, and every storyline. Without the children, there was no channel. During this day, Stacy did something that no one had ever really done before. She asked the kids directly what they thought about being filmed.
I'm really trying my best. Do you like being in the videos?
Hey, the mommy and daddy make videos every day.
No.
Every second day.
No.
Middle?
Middle. Do you like being in the videos?
No. Sometimes.
It's understandable.
No.
Do you like the farm?
No.
Do you like me?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
This time, Jonathan didn't have any control. There was no editing to hide behind, no carefully curated montage to maintain the illusion of a perfect, happy family. For years, Jonathan had been the one holding the camera, deciding what the world would see and, more importantly, what they wouldn't see. If something didn't fit the image, it simply disappeared in the edit. But not this time. This time, the footage wasn't his to control. And you could see Jonathan was very uncomfortable in the footage. Later in the episode, Stacy sat down with Jonathan alone. No kids, no distractions, just an honest question between two adults. She asked him what he thought about the darkness, the very real dangers that come with putting your children online for anyone, anywhere, anytime to watch. It was a question most parents would answer instinctively, a question that strikes at something primal, the instinct to protect your children at all costs. But for Jonathan, it wasn't so simple, because for him, that darkness wasn't hypothetical. It was the very foundation of his career. His entire livelihood depended on the very same thing Stacy was asking him to confront.
The legitimate concerns is we know for a fact that trawl through the internet, go through YouTube, looking for videos of children.
Yeah.
That thought must have crossed your mind. And how does that make you feel that your kids are out there for them potentially to see?
Yeah, I think every parent has to be aware of the dangers in the world, you know, and that's why we don't film the children in scenarios that we think, you know, makes them vulnerable. You know, you can look at some of the thumbnails across YouTube and you can highlight the gymnastics, the swimming, the stuff that kind of like really emphasizes where you might have a higher risk.
How would you feel in your heart of hearts if it became apparent that a paedophile had been looking at your children, had been masturbating children, for example?
It's such an odd question, because how would you, like, I don't know how you'd feel. Like, obviously is it a terrible thing? It's like, I don't really know how to answer, like, because I would say, like, you know, because all I do is I don't know, I don't really make content for that purpose. I just make it as difficult as I can for my content to be consumed that way. I don't think there's any footage out there. There probably was in our early stuff, and I admit that, and we made mistakes, and everyone
Bath
did.
time and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
we kind of, because it was cute, and we had one kid, and we were like, this is fun, and stuff like that. A lot of them have been taken down now. We've removed a lot of them, and same with the pictures that we've had on our social media. And we just kind of like live and learn. I don't think we're bad people. We're just sharing our life, the good parts and the bad parts.
One of the final moments in the episode that really stood out to everyone was an interaction between Jonathan and Stacy. Because as the 3 days came to a close, Stacy told Jonathan that family vlogging wasn't something she could ever see herself doing. She was polite, she was calm, respectful, and quick to clarify that it wasn't her place to tell him how to live his life or raise his family. It was honestly a very pleasant interaction, a respectful thing to say to someone who you maybe don't 100% agree with. But to Jonathan, it didn't feel neutral. It didn't feel respectful. What she said struck a nerve.
I don't think it's something I would want to do if I had kids, but I also don't think it's for me to tell you how to raise your children and how to provide for your family.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with me.
So
and
be
the
careful
kids.
saying things like that. Because I said to you, so many people have said to us the same thing. And next thing you know, they're making their shows about having babies. You don't know, you're not pregnant, you haven't had a baby. You know what I mean? And when you go through that process and you have a child, and all you want to do is share your incredible child with the world because it's the best child ever made.
Yeah. And I suppose my concerns would be, you know, you don't know if it's going to have...
You're just digging a hole right now.
No, but I'm just telling... Are you asking me what I think? I think you don't know if there's going to be any impacts long-term on their mental health, etc., if they will grow up and resent what you've done.
How is your child not going to grow up and look back and look at the kind of things that you have done in your journalistic career and think, oh my goodness, my mom isn't it?
And as the years went on, the Sakone family channel, it began to change. The daily uploads slowed from posting every single day to just a few times a week. But with that shift came a new focus, one that would spark a ton of controversy. The spotlight turned toward their second child, who I'll refer to as E2, and what Jonathan described as E2's gender journey. It was a storyline that divided the audience. Because while there were some viewers that praised the family's openness, many others questioned the ethics of sharing something so personal about a child, especially one who still at that point was in elementary school. And no matter how somebody feels about this topic individually, many would say that it's hard to argue that a child as young as E2 was able to fully comprehend and consent to having that journey, their personal story shared online for millions to see. Because what probably should have been a private family matter, it became content for millions to consume, to weigh in with their opinions. Titles like Our Daughter's First Visit to a Gender Clinic began appearing on the channel. Videos teasing a name change, thumbnails designed to draw attention, to drive clicks.
Dad, I'm trans.
Popular.
And through it all, the child at the center of it was only around 7 years old. It wasn't hard to notice the pattern. Videos featuring this storyline featuring E2 began to outperform everything else on the channel. Some brought in over 100,000 views or more, while others without that focus barely reached half that number. So the numbers told their own story, one of a family channel running out of momentum, and a father desperate to hold on to relevance, even if it meant centering his child's most vulnerable moments for the world to see. And because of that, when E2 grows up, whether or not they change their mind about what's going on, they might look back and wish their story hadn't been shared with the entire world before they were old enough to truly understand what that meant. But by then, it'll be too late. Jonathan and Anna already made that choice for them, deciding that their child's most personal journey was something that the internet deserved to see. And it was around this time that Jonathan himself released a book talking about his own gender journey. Here's a quote from the book. Jonathan said, "I am a non-binary person and my sexuality is straight. I'm a woman on the inside and a man on the outside. I can be fluid with my gender and identity. There may have been a moment in my childhood when, with the right support, I might have wanted to transition completely to a woman. But without examples in my life or the media I consumed, that was never an idea I could have imagined. So I kept those things to myself and I created my own imaginative world. I called it Domdi. And it was a world filled with the invisible friends that helped me to process and manage my own mental health and identity struggles." So it was also around this time that Jonathan began to show himself experimenting with fashion in post alongside with E2. And not only that, but around this time as well, the Sacconejolys family channel went dark. All their videos had disappeared. For a brief moment, it seemed like change was finally happening. Jonathan made what many consider an admirable decision. He took the family's videos down. He spoke publicly about realizing how unfair it was to take away his children's right to consent, to admit that he was wrong, and to encourage others in the space to do the same.
Probably one of the most influential and probably like original kind of influence, or like family influences, whatever it was. So that's why I thought about, if I remove the videos and I put up a video on it, like maybe I'll kind of like motivate other people or inspire other people to follow suit. And maybe there'll be this like moment where, you know, we were there at the beginning and maybe we could like sort of orchestrate the end of it or something. I'm not really sure, you know, because I don't think it's great, but we did it and I can't take that back. And, you know, I had so much fun and the kids had so much fun. And
it felt like a genuine step forward. Like finally, his children could have a real childhood. And it was during this short period of time that Jonathan and Anna experimented with new content, a podcast, just the two of them. No kids, no family vlogs, a clean slate. But soon, reality set in. People weren't tuning in for them. The audience wasn't there for Jonathan and Anna as individuals, they were there for the children. So of course, what did they do? They brought the channel back. While some of the more controversial videos, especially those documenting E2's gender journeys on that channel, were quietly removed, over 2,600 videos remain online to this day. Years of content, years of childhood, still available for anyone, anywhere, anytime to watch. But Jonathan didn't stop there. He launched his own channel, one that pushed things even further and one that in many ways became even darker than anything that the Sacconejolys family channel had done before. The thing is, with the Sacconejolys family channel, it eventually hit a plateau during its long run on YouTube. Despite being one of the early family vloggers, they never seemed to surpass 1.6 million subscribers. And that might sound like a lot, but when you compare it to other channels that came after them, other family channels like the LeBrants or the Ace family, who were pulling in millions upon millions of views and subscribers, it became clear that the sacconejolys just didn't have what it takes to keep up or evolve with YouTube's ever-changing landscape. And with someone like Jonathan, that had to be crushing. Seeing other families online outperform him day after day. And if there's one thing Jonathan has always known how to do online, that's pivot. Sometimes those pivots land and sometimes they don't. This time it kind of worked. He started creating kid-focused content on his own personal channel, videos centering around the children, but made for kids. Skits, routines, challenges, kind of content that probably wouldn't appeal to anyone over the age of 11. But of course, Jonathan found a loophole by inserting himself into the videos as a narrator or appearing on screen for a minute or two, so he could technically skirt YouTube's rule that the platform is for ages 13 and up. And just after a couple of years of posting this new content, his personal channel surpassed the original family channel, both in subscribers and in views, in a fraction of the time. But while you would expect that videos made for kids would be harmless probably, right? But that hasn't been the case here. Not with Jonathan, not ever. Because now he's doing exactly what he once swore that he would never do. The very thing he's openly acknowledged attracts the wrong kind of attention to children online.
Every parent has to be aware of the dangers in the world, and that's why we don't film the children in scenarios that we think, makes them vulnerable. You can look at some of the thumbnails across YouTube and you can highlight the gymnastics, the swimming, the stuff that kind of like really emphasizes where you might have a higher risk. How would you, like, I don't know how you'd feel. Like, obviously is it a terrible thing? It's like, I don't really know how to answer, like, because I would say, like, because all I do is I don't know. I don't really make content for that purpose. I just make it as difficult as I can for my content to be consumed that way. I don't think there's any footage out there. There probably was in our early stuff, and I admit that, and we made mistakes, and everyone did.
Bath time and stuff like that.
Yeah, we kind of, because it was cute, and we had one kid, and we were like, this is fun, and stuff like that. A lot of them have been taken down now. We've removed a lot of them, and same with the pictures that we've had on our social media. And we just kind of like, live and learn.
I want to share a clip with you here from an expert because after all, I'm just someone on YouTube, right? What do I really know about this whole situation? So let's hear from someone who does know, from an ex-FBI agent, so we can get a professional perspective on the risks of content featuring children online, especially in the way that Jonathan portrays his own children, and what could possibly be happening behind the scenes with that material.
Okay, I'm through being nice. They don't give grades to parents, but if this is your child, you fail. I'm sure mom and dad thought this was just the cutest thing ever and they were creating the next big internet sensation. And that probably didn't happen, but here's what I can guarantee you did happen. First, this video has been downloaded and saved millions of times by people around the world. At least one of those is tech savvy enough to have made an AI-generated video featuring this little girl's likeness, and it's getting shared thousands of times a day throughout their secret community. Lastly, there's a child somewhere out there doing everything he can to find this child and see if an abduction might be possible. If you think I'm making any of this up or overstating it for dramatic purposes, you don't understand what happens on the dark web, and you don't understand the depths of depravity of the child sexual predators who hang out there. Bottom line, moms and dads, stop kids out for your own desperate need for attention.
One of the biggest questions that a lot of people have is, where is Anna? Where's the mother of these kids? We used to see her every single day, but now it's mostly just Jonathan who seems to be running the show and controlling the kids' online presence. Anna still pops up occasionally on Jonathan's channel and keeps up on her own YouTube channel and Instagram, but something stands out right away if you look at her social media. Jonathan is almost completely absent. If you were to scroll through her feed, you might even assume she's a single mom. She does have a close male friend who she spends a lot of time with, but they are strictly just friends. Many have even began to speculate that Anna and Jonathan might have actually separated, but continue to appear to be together online to maintain their family's image, something that we see happen more often than not with people in the influencer world. But as I said earlier, the bigger question is, why isn't Anna stepping up? And the truth is, we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe she's tried to intervene. But what we do know is that Anna, much like Jonathan, has become accustomed to a certain lifestyle, one that likely wouldn't exist without the kids being involved in the content. So it's entirely possible that she's okay with things continuing as they are. There's also a long-standing claim that Anna placed favorites with her children. She's openly made content about being a toxic boy mom, and interestingly enough, their fourth child, who I'll call A2, is the one child who's rarely seen anymore. He doesn't appear on Jonathan's channel usually, even though he's old enough to take part in it. Because of that, a lot of people believe he might be the only one who's actually being given something close to a normal childhood. Recently, a TikTok account claiming to be E1, the oldest Sakone Joly child, began replying to comments about what it really is like growing up as a family vlogger kid. And honestly, what's being said is both shocking and heartbreaking. Now, before we go any further, I do want to be clear. I cannot say for absolute certain that this is, in fact, E1. However, after looking into it extensively, I do feel almost certain that it is. And here's why. E2, who does have a confirmed TikTok account, frequently comments on this page. And beyond that, the account has posted several photos and short clips that have not appeared anywhere else. Images that seem recent and show moments of her siblings the public has never seen before. So take all of that for what it's worth. But the account claiming to be E1 has been responding to and even liking a number of comments about her father. One commenter wrote, "Wait, is this actually your account? Tell your dad to stop using you." E1 replied, "Don't worry, I know about the stuff and I'm already doing something about it." Another person said, "I hope you're okay because your dad's exploiting you and your siblings. You might not understand now, but you need to get help. This is abuse." E1 responded, "My best friend helps me a lot, and after about 4 years of being in denial, I accepted it. So I understand it all, but I can't do much." In another reply, when someone mentioned that both parents were to blame, E1 wrote, "My mom isn't the problem though. She's actually amazing and I love her so much." And that last comment feels especially telling. It lines up with what we've seen. Anna has clearly taken a step back from the spotlight. Maybe she truly is trying to distance herself from all of this and would like for the kids to be less of the focus. But Jonathan just can't seem to let it go. Now, once again, we can't say with absolute certain that this account is E1, but there are details that make it hard to dismiss. The account has been active since 2022 and remained private up until very recently. Many of the comments she's been responding to came from videos that were marked as friends only on TikTok, and someone took those and shared screenshots from the video. And honestly, it's difficult to imagine someone maintaining the illusion of being her for years without slipping up. But even if the accounts were somehow fake, that should still be deeply concerning for Jonathan and Anna. Because if that's not really E1, it's somebody impersonating her. Someone who is shaping an online identity for her that's not really her. In the end, this isn't just a story about the sacconejolys. It's about every child who has ever grown up online, whose first steps, first words, first heartbreak, and private moments have been captured, uploaded, and shared with the world before they even had a choice. What started as innocent sharing quickly became something else, a business, a brand, a performance. And somewhere along the way, childhood stopped belonging to the children. The sacconejolys are not just a cautionary tale from the past because their story is still unfolding. The full effects of growing up online, the psychological, social, and emotional consequences are only beginning to reveal themselves. For these children, the impact isn't hypothetical, it's happening right now, and it will continue well into their future. What we've seen here is a glimpse of something much larger, a growing industry that treats childhood as content, innocence as clicks, and privacy as optional. And while the sacconejolys are only one family, their story reminds us of the very real consequences this exposure can have, not just in the past, but for the children themselves as they grow into adults. If this video has opened up your eyes at all, if you're as passionate as I am about this topic, please share it. Not enough people talk about the sacconejolys, and more need to because it is getting worse by the day. Again, it seems like the older the children get, the more desperate Jonathan gets. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for sitting through this video. If you did, it has been on my channel bucket list since I started to do a big video about the sacconejolys. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Like I said, please share it. Thank you for being here as always, and I'll see you guys in my next video.